Ferguson, Missouri police have just released the name of the police officer involved in Saturday's deadly shooting of that unarmed 18-year-old black teenager. Police Chief Thomas Jackson says that man is Darren Wilson. Jackson says Wilson has been with Ferguson Police Department for 6 years. He's never faced disciplinary action and was treated for injuries after the shooting. For the time being, Missouri's Highway Patrol is now in charge of protecting the St. Louis suburbs in an attempt to ease tensions in those communities. Governor Jay Nixon made the decision after local police and residents clashed for 4 straight nights. There was looting, tons of protests going on. The governor told ABC News that along with releasing the officers' names, that they hope that this is steps towards transparency leading to justice. President Obama took some time out of his vacation on Martha's Vineyard yesterday to address the situation going on in Ferguson, Missouri. The president says he'd like everyone to take a step back and think about how to move forward with what he calls a heartbreaking and tragic situation.
There are going to be differences in terms of what needs to happen going forward. That's part of our democracy. But let's remember that we're all part of one American family. We are united in common values, and that includes belief in equality under the law.
And the president went on to say that there needs to be accountability when it comes to American government. Obama says he has instructed the Department of Justice and the FBI to keep an eye on the situation going on in Ferguson, Missouri. More importantly, Obama urges the people of Missouri to remain calm and ask for peaceful protest on the streets. Authorities in riot gear, which resembled a military unit more than a police force, may have contributed to the tensions going on in Ferguson. Now, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says America must move to demilitarize police departments. Paul says there, quote, should be a difference between a police response and a military response. This according to an op-ed piece in Time magazine. The Kentucky senator adds that nowadays police are looking and acting more like soldiers than cops. Paul believes the militarization of law enforcement is due to the expansion of the government's power. And Senator Paul is urging Americans not to sacrifice liberty for a false sense of security. Later this hour, we'll speak with a political commentator, Mike Reagan, and get his thoughts on police militarization. In Iraq, incumbent Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki says he will, in fact, step down in order to make for a new government. This as the international community is blaming al-Maliki for much of the sectarian violence taking place in Iraq. Al-Maliki announced he would end his 8-year rule during a televised speech to his nation yesterday. The outgoing prime minister thanked Iraqis for electing him and says he supports the new prime minister, Hadi al-Abadi. Iraq is currently seeking to create a new, more inclusive government to help combat the spread of ISIS militants. And in South Korea, Pope Francis continues his 5-day trip by greeting thousands of devout Catholics in that country. The Pope offered a prayer service to some 6,000 parishioners. The pontiff called for Catholics to combat the allure of materialism in today's world. Pope Francis also says South Korea is an exemplary model for the future of Catholicism in that region of the world.